My name is Corrina Eccles. I am a Wadawurrung woman and I live and work on Wadawurrung country. I am 44 years of age. I have 2 young boys and a granddaughter, and I am one of 5 generations living on Wadawurrung country. I did used to cop a lot of bullying and words due to the colour of my skin. I had very dark skin when I was younger. And there was this one day I particularly remember, this moment that happened at school that really challenged me, and it caused me to react, and I ran and I kept running. I remember my parents talking to me and explaining to me why my skin was darker than the other children. And they told me that I was Aboriginal and that my dad was and that my nan was. And I'd never perceived it in that way at all. How it was perceived in the media or storybooks when I was little was full-blooded Aboriginal people that lived out in the bush, that didn't wear shoes. And that was my perception as a very young girl. So to try and comprehend that in a little girl's world was very difficult. And I didn't grow up with a dad that was strong in his identity or talked about that. So that was very difficult. I did grow up with a secret. I didn't tell people why my skin was darker than the other children. Then when I hit high school, I was blessed that I went to a high school that had a large population of Aboriginal children. And I felt an instant connection to them, and they were in all different year levels. I remember having this moment attending a women's group meeting, and the moment I had was very emotional. I went back to my babysitter and I started crying, and she said, "You know, what's wrong?" And I said, I'm crying tears of joy or tears of connection, because tonight at that women's group and hearing the women speak, I felt like I belonged. I felt connected, and I'd never, besides with my nan, I'd never had that experience before. And I think that is what ignited the cultural fire that's part of me, part of our history. And yeah, today I still lead, and I choose to do what I do because I want children to be proud and strong as a woman, and a woman that is proud of her identity and wants to see children grow up proud, strong and connected and proud of who they are and where they belong, and to know where they belong. I feel that I have the passion that I do for our young people because of my own journey as a young person. And my nan had 10 children and now has over 76 grandchildren, great-grandchildren. So for Nan to be able to walk alongside many of us was quite difficult. So I had to rely on elders in the community as well. And I want to give back, and I want to give back because of my own journey. And I know how significant it is to have that connection to community and to know about your culture. Again, I refer back to who am I, where do I belong? And if our children know that and know those stories and can be connected to Aboriginal women or Aboriginal leaders in the communities or Aboriginal mentors, it really, really helps, particularly when Aboriginal people are a minority out there in the wider community, particularly when our children are blonde-haired, blue-eyed, fair-skinned. It's not about their skin, it's not about their colour, it's about the spirit within them, that spirit that's lived on for many generations. And we've got to grow them up to be resilient and strong in who they are, to be resilient from some of the challenges they will face with identifying that they're Aboriginal. what they went through with settlement and many other things that took place, the resilience that they had to continue on and trying to maintain their cultural traditions and values and practices, where in a space where they weren't able to, where they were no longer able to care for land and country like they did, all I see from that is just courage and strength. I think of it like, it must have been like an earthquake that came through that they didn't see coming. I'm definitely connected to the salt water. I do have a place on country down on the coast that is my place that I go to, and I need to feel that connection or keep some balance. I've recently, alongside the Great Ocean Road Coastal Committee, conducting cultural walks of the Surf Coast Walk. So we walk over 40 k's from Point Impossible to Aireys Inlet over 3 days. And that is where my connection is, very much with the coast, but all of country. I feel a spiritual connection to many places. There's some places where I feel I should not be as well. I do feel that. So I know that may have been a men's place or a place I shouldn't be standing. But probably for me, I talk about a lot of what I give. And 3 years ago, I connected with family for the first time that I hadn't met through Wadawurrung Aboriginal Corporation, our traditional corporation organisation. And I danced myself for the first time with my family. And that was the first time that I had the opportunity to do that, even though I'd been giving that opportunity to many kids in the community for some time. And I just embraced that moment and absolutely love that moment, and it's something now I continue to do. Every day I continue to meet more family. We are still connecting with each other, and I feel blessed. I really do feel blessed. My ancestors have left this journey for me to walk, and I'll walk with them, watching over me and doing right by them on this beautiful country.